Hi everyone, I'm Hegmo, and this week I'd like to kick off a series of videos showcasing each of the prime weapons. Before we do that, I would also like to thank everyone who has watched, liked, commented, and subscribed to this channel. Our last video on breaking Ixion's horn has done really well, and it's exciting to see the channel start to grow. Since we're already on the topic, I'll do my YouTube engagement pitch now at the beginning of the video instead of the end. If you find these videos helpful, informative, or just generally entertaining, hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps the channel out, and if you want more Final Fantasy XI and other games with me, Hegmo, feel free to join us in the Discord and follow on twitch.tv/Hegmo. Links for both of those are down in the description. Thanks again. Back to the primes. Today I'm kicking off a series of videos showcasing individual prime weapons and my takes on them individually. I know that the community has done some rigorous testing, but hopefully these videos will help you make a decision on which prime you want to make before you invest potentially 6 months plus of grinding Gallimafree into building one. I'll be showcasing stage 4 prime weapons primarily, as they are much more accessible than the stage 5s, and in my opinion they've at least 90% activated by stage 4. So yes, I'm a scrub, I have no purple glow, and I'm missing some stats, but I think it will be a good representation of the capabilities of each prime at stage 4. We'll be starting with my static for the initial round of videos, starting with my own personal prime, Helheim, the Great Sword, and continuing on to weapons like Caliburnus, Lonashad, Phonaria, and even some less talked about options like Spalarisos. If there's a weapon that you'd like to see in the future, just let me know down in the comments and I'll try to prioritize it. Let's talk about Helheim. Helheim is the prime greatsword and is usable by warrior, Dark Knight, Paladin, and Rune Fencer, and it gives access to the unique weapon skill Fimbulvetr. With a decent base damage capping out at 336, it's on par with some of the other heavy-hitting two-handed weapon options. It has strength, vit, and accuracy, and it just makes for a good weapon for physical damage spam. Each prime also has a unique bonus stat, with Helheim's adding Store TP, which is great for physical damage and weapon skill spam. It's also worth mentioning at this point that each of the physical damage prime weapons have a hidden damage multiplier similar to the relic weapons. Starting at stage 4, there's an occasionally deals double damage on the first attack round in your auto attack, upgrading to triple damage at stage 5. This isn't quite as potent as Empyrean's triple damage aftermath, which can apply to the entire attack round, but it's a nice added bonus for the high damage primes, with some players getting 8,000 to 10,000 damage auto attacks fairly regularly. Helheim's weapon skill, Fimbulvetr, is a 2-hit physical damage weapon skill with decent strength and vit stat modifiers, and as seems to be the theme for prime weapon skills, extremely high FTP scaling as your TP increases, best used at higher TP values. Fimbulvetr is a dark aligned weapon skill, self-chaining for a 2-step gravitation into a 3-step darkness chain, or can be chained infinitely between scission and gravitation when Fimbulvetr is rotated with resolution. I tend to see the weapon skill damage ranging from 50,000 damage at low TP up to 85,000 damage at high TP, reaching cap damage in the 2-hour windows. As I mentioned previously, one of the key advantages to this weapon, in my opinion, is its usability across 4 different jobs. Warrior and Dark Knight both being able to take advantage of the high damage potential, Rune Fencer being able to use it as a high damage alternative to Lionheart when you don't need the defense advantage of Epio, and perhaps just for novelty, Paladin can use it as well, but this is probably going to be used about as much as Calidbolg is used for Paladin, which isn't very often. You're not going to find yourself switching from Sword and Shield very often, but I've done it a few times and it's quite fun to pull out for fun if nothing else. As a general review, after months of using this sword, I like it. I'd give it 7 out of 10 Hegmos. The versatility of the weapon being usable on multiple jobs is one of its key strengths. Ultimately, I think Dark Knight might be better served by picking up Phonaria. Warrior might see higher numbers with Lafria. It's surprisingly Rune's only prime, and has some novelty for Paladin. If I could go back and choose again, considering I spend most of my time on Warrior recently, I'd probably pick up Lafria personally. If I were a Dark main, I would absolutely pick the Scythe over the Greatsword, as Phanaria's damage is extremely strong, and Origin's HP and MP drain is also just extremely busted in many circumstances. But if you're looking for a good weapon that's usable by multiple jobs, I definitely don't regret making it on that front. I actually initially built this for warrior to use in sortie, but one of the most fun things that we did was use it to master our fresh 99 dark. We set up killing locust bats just using some Empyrean +3 gear and whatever my warrior had left over with Sakpada and Naomi, and it was quite fun to start the path to master doing 90k weapon skills on a fresh job. It's also great for doing things like making gravitation and darkness chains on fights like Gartel, and all around I think it's really enjoyable to use. This weapon has steadily become my always-on weapon for warrior. It's what I use through all of my Dynamis runs. I use it through the majority of my Odyssey runs. The ability to shockwave large pulls is an added bonus, putting the entire pull to sleep if they're susceptible to darkness-based sleeps. And I really only swap off of it when the skill chain property is detrimental or when I need to use a different damage type. So, should you make a Helheim? I'd say yes. For the reasons above, I think it's an extremely valuable weapon to have, but we'll be talking more about the alternatives for jobs like Dark Knight and Warrior in the coming weeks. So if you're a single player job and you only play Dark Knight or you only play Warrior, there might be better options. If you're a Rune Fencer only, this might be the only option that you have. And if you're making it for your Paladin, I think you'd be much better served by making something like Dupont, but to each his own. Overall, I think it's a very powerful weapon to use, especially on Warrior when you can basically cap your double attack rate at 100%. Combined with the added store TP and everything else, in Mighty Strikes you will absolutely shred through enemies, the occasional double damage procs or triple damage at stage 5, the ability to be putting out cap damage weapon skills fairly rapidly. It is extremely powerful. I hope you found this video informative and helpful in making a decision on which prime you want to make. As I mentioned previously, we'll be featuring a new weapon regularly in this series, so check back in the future for more videos. If you have a prime you'd like me to discuss, drop a comment below and I'll do my best to prioritize. And lastly, if you have a stage 4 or 5 prime weapon that you'd like to share your experience with, please reach out. I'd love to hear your thoughts, maybe record some footage with you and feature your weapon in the coming weeks. These weapons are a huge investment to make, so I only have immediate access to a limited number, but with the community's help, I think we can eventually showcase the entire set of 16 primes. Until next time, bye!